Are you thinking about buying a house? It's one of the biggest decisions that you're ever going to make. In this video, I'm breaking down the exact signs that you need to watch out for so that you can buy with confidence, no regrets. Let's get started. Here's the 5 key things that you need to know before buying a house, plus one surprise factor that you might not have thought of, which is a surprising sign that you might need to wait a little longer. First things first, let's talk about your financial stability. So here's what you need to have in place to know that it's time for you to possibly think about buying a house. Number 1 is you need to have an emergency fund. In lending, we call this a reserve account. It's money left over after closing, so you're not spending every single penny to get in the house. I would say that should cover 3 to 6 months of your monthly expenses. The second is a savings account for the down payment. So minimum down payment if you're a first-time buyer is 3%. Now, people that are second-time buyers can put down as little as 5%. Did you know that you don't have to put down 20% on a house? Now, of course you can if you want to, but there are some assistance programs. We're not going to go through assistance in this video. I actually have down in the description, I'll put a video about assistance so you can kind of understand what that looks like. But for right now, we're just going to assume that you'll need to have the down payment for the house that you're buying. So 3%, for example, if the house is $300,000, 3% of that would be $9,000. And don't forget about closing costs. This is the number one thing that I hear from potential home buyers when they call me is, I have this amount of money for the down payment, and they haven't even thought about closing costs. So let me just talk about this really quick. In different states, the closing costs are different. They're in the same range, but they're a little bit different. And also fees like property taxes, homeowners insurance, that's different from state to state too. So I always like to say it's great to talk to a local lender, meaning in your state, because they're going to have the best idea for you of what kind of expenses are going to be associated. So don't forget about closing costs. Now, the good news is assistance programs could possibly cover some of those costs. And also, did you know that your realtor can help you negotiate with a seller to pay those closing costs? So I'm going to put those videos, a little bit more about closing costs, down in the description so that you can check that out later. Look, almost everyone underestimates how much they need for closing. That's why I'm a super proponent of 6 to 9 months out, y'all. Talk to a lender. Rip off the Band-Aid. Go ahead and get the real deal. Watching a video on social media or scrolling around to the endless number of pages that come up when you do some kind of a search online, y'all, just do yourself a favor. Get a referral to a trusted lender in your area and get the real information now so that you can be prepared. Okay, next up, let's talk about debt and credit scores. If you feel like every month you're drowning and you're not really sure where the next rent check is going to come from and you're barely meeting your expenses, I would say that's a good sign to hit the pause button. Now, it's a good idea to get informed. Like I mentioned before, 6 to 9 months or 12. I love talking to people 12 months out to give you a roadmap. So I would definitely consider that, but you will want to push the pause button if you're barely able to meet your monthly expenses now. Okay. Now, if your credit score is above, let's say a 620, and you feel that you have extra money left over every month and you've got some reserves, I would say that's a great time to check that box and you are definitely in the right space to potentially buy a home. Now, here's a quick tip. We're going to talk about credit. Did you know that the higher your credit score, the better chance at lowering your monthly payment? That's because generally for higher credit scores, lower interest rates and possibly lower PMI, which is private mortgage insurance, which are components of your payment, could be at play. So you always want to work on your credit. I'll tell you what, I'm going to put my favorite credit videos from my YouTube channel down in the description. I've got lots of resources down there, y'all. So check it out. on how you can better your credit score. It's easier than you think. I'll give you a hint. It's those credit cards. So check that out down below. Okay, are you ready to commit? A mortgage is a 30-year commitment. Most people start out with a 30 years. Some people do a 15, but let's say 30 years is most common. If you're not really sure if you're going to live in the house for more than 2 to 3 years, I definitely would possibly think about pausing if you're putting a low down payment, because the houses aren't going to have time to appreciate enough or go up in value for you to later in 2 or 3 years be able to sell the property and get money out. Like, nobody wants to sell a property and have to come out of pocket with the closing costs to sell a house, right? So if you're a 5 to 7 year, most people are 5 to 7 years before they go to the next house. You know, you're growing your family or you're downsizing. People's lives change probably on a cycle every 7 to 8 years. But if you think short term and you're not sure, I would say it might be a good time to push the pause button before you make that commitment to a 30-year mortgage. The other thing to think about, there's a commitment on fixing stuff like maintenance. Like, that's one thing that you need to be prepared for as well. So costs that are outside of closing are keeping up the property. You know, you're painting the walls, you're mowing the lawn, you're fixing a roof leak when it happens. You've got, like, my refrigerator a couple months ago, like, literally, like, stopped working. So I had to get this new motherboard, and that was money, and, you know, all the things, right? So this is the normal course of homeownership. Like, I'm bought into it that this is just how it has to be because I want to own a home. I do not want to rent a house. But if you're taking that leap from renting to owning, you need to also think, okay, I'm used to just calling the landlord when stuff breaks. So am I ready to call myself or call the guy to come fix the thing and pay for it? Like, you've got to really make sure that you're ready for that commitment. Let's talk about goals and your place in life. Are you potentially going to be moving around? Do you know, is your job steady? Are you afraid or are you cautious about potentially being relocated out of town? You know, your lifestyle is a big reason to buy or not to buy, depending on if you're ready to plant your feet in the ground and put your roots down somewhere. So if you're ready to plant roots and ready to put your feet in the ground and just get steady and dig in, that's a good sign. Buying a house right now could be for you. Okay, now I'm going to go over one sign that it might not be ready to buy, and that is FOMO, fear of missing out. It's easy to want to just keep up with the Joneses. Like, my parents are bugging me to buy a house. My friends are all buying houses right now, so I should be buying a house. Y'all, listen, there's always going to be houses to buy, and obviously I'm a huge proponent. I mean, I've been a lender for 29 years. Obviously, I'm a huge proponent for home ownership, but there are some people that just are not ready to buy a house, and that's okay. So don't feel pressure to keep up with anybody. Like, you need to look at your situation, talk to a lender if you're curious. I mean, it's never a waste of my time because I want to make sure that people are in the right place to do what they need to do. I actually tell people a lot that they're not ready to buy a house because, not a lot, but a good percentage of the time, because they're just not ready. They don't have any savings. They're spending every penny to get into the house. So talk to a lender about what the real costs are. What's the real payment going to be? Y'all, online calculators are wrong. So you're cruising around in your slippers at midnight when the kids are in bed, cruising around on whatever site thinking, oh, this is going to be my payment. I'm here to tell you, it's wrong. They miscalculate taxes and insurance all the time. So a lender is the only way that you're going to know what your true payment is going to be. Okay, are you still not sure if you're ready? I have a free download for you. I have a free checklist down in the description of a home buyer's readiness checklist. Also, you want to check out my free homeowners course called Blueprint to Home Ownership. I'm going to link all this down in the description so that you can look at that too. Remember, buying a house is a big but super rewarding not only personally rewarding decision, but financially rewarding as well. If you found this video helpful, please subscribe, pass it to a friend, and do me a favor, throw me a like or a comment. I appreciate it. I'm Jen Hernandez, lender for 29 years. I'll see you on the next video.